What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a product review on the Zero Breeze Mark II portable AC unit. They reached out to me and asked if this was something that maybe you guys would be interested in seeing me review, and I kind of thought maybe it would be a good idea. I know I got some people down there in Florida where it's always hot and humid, and even me here in Virginia, man. I mean, the heat is really kicking this week and in the previous week. So I thought this would be a good thing for me to kind of test out, give you guys a rundown of how it works, how it performs, and maybe you can make a decision yourself on whether you want to buy one or not. First off, we can start with the weight and dimensions and stuff of that nature. As you can see, this is how it's sized in proportion to the micro camper that I've been building. If you've been following along with the channel, then you will be familiar with that, and if not, you should definitely go check it out. Comes in at about 16.5 pounds. It's 20 inches long, 10 inches wide, and about 11 inches high. So at that size and weight, it actually makes it pretty portable. Considering what you would normally think of an AC unit as such as a window unit or anything like that, big and bulky and crazy, no good handles on them. But this, just nice handle like that, so it can be carried with one hand even if your other one isn't free. And slim enough that you can kind of slide it in the back floorboard of the truck, or just kind of tuck it away somewhere where it's not in the way until you're ready to use it. All right, so what you see on the bottom here is actually the removable battery pack. This is what you're going to use for off-grid use. You don't have any access to any plugs or anything like that. You want to use it out camping, maybe out in the woods somewhere. So this is what you're going to want. Zero Breeze website says 3 to 5 hours of usage. I had it running for probably 3 to 4 hours the other day, and it still wasn't all the way dead. And of course, your battery life is really going to depend on the conditions that you're camping in and what you're kind of asking of the unit to do. Of course, this can be extended if you have a portable power bank or something like that. You can plug this straight into that, or a nice dual battery system on your truck or van. You can just plug it in straight to that. They also sell the batteries separately, so that will also extend your runtime. So if you have multiple batteries, you may not have to plug it into anything, and it'll last you the whole weekend with no issues. Another option would be to add some sort of solar system to it, so you can keep on collecting some of that juice from the sun that you're actually trying to escape by using this. So on the back here, we got our connections to where the external battery actually connects to the Zero Breeze itself. It's just connected by this cord. So basically, to remove it, you'd unplug it, and then you just pull down on this and slide it forward and lift it up, and it's that simple. So if you have to do a battery swap or something like that, or you just want to separate them for travel, it is very easy to separate the battery and the unit itself. So they give you this nice weatherproof plug, so when this isn't plugged in, it kind of protects your connection there. And then also, when you go to plug this in, you can screw this collar on, and by screwing this collar on, obviously you're going to have a permanent connection. It's not going to accidentally come unplugged or anything of that nature. All right, so what we got here is actually the power brick, and this is how you are to charge your external battery. And also you can plug it, you can see the battery is no longer there, and you can plug it straight into the back of the Zero Breeze. And then obviously we have our standard wall outlet, so from there you can plug it straight into the outlet on your battery bank, or maybe in the garage, or maybe at a campground. If you're at a campground and there's a plug available, you don't have to worry about it running out of any juice, because you can just plug straight into the grid. All right, so now we're gonna get into what you guys, I'm sure, watch this video for, and it's to see how it functions. So basically, to turn it on, once your battery pack is connected, go ahead and hold your power button up front. You see we got our blue lights lit up and you heard the beeps, so it is on. And also I'd like to mention that there's 2 USB ports, and then also USB-C port, and then another 12-volt port up front here that you can use this kind of as a battery bank, charge phones, anything like that. Once it is on, we kind of have our buttons up here. They're not actually clicky buttons, they're kind of more of like a touch screen. So you just kind of give it a touch there, and you see it defaults to the rocket, which basically that's the strong mode. So it's going to be putting out the coolest air possible without worrying about battery consumption. Not sure how well you guys can hear it, but this is with it running. It's really not all that loud. No louder than a fan you would typically put in your room at home. All right, so I'll give you a quick rundown of the buttons here. So this is fan. Basically, this is just blow air. It's not going to be cooling like it normally would. The rocket button is basically going to have it cooling at its max ability. So it's going to be putting out most amount of cold air that it possibly can, given the circumstances. Here we got the snowflake, which is kind of the standard operating mode. Probably going to see some longer battery life out of this setting. Then we got our sleep button, which basically puts it in a low power consumption mode. And also I think it dims all the other lights on the unit. So if you have it in a tent with you or something like that, it's not going to have super bright distracting lights or anything like that while you're trying to sleep. On the side here, we have a little light, so you can push that button, and then this will light up front. Could give you a nice little ambient light in your tent or micro camper or van or anything like that. And then of course we got our power button, and then our plus and minus, which is for our fan speed, along with an indicator right here to let you know at what setting that fan is set at. Here I'm going to kind of go over the rest of the outside of the unit and kind of point at things and tell you what they do. So basically this is where your cold air is coming out. This is a little display right here that'll light up when it's on, and I don't have it on right now just because I didn't want the blower noise to interfere with the mic, but that just shows you what the temperature is of the air that's actually coming out of the unit itself. On the back side here, we got our exhaust. So basically when an AC creates cool air, it's actually just removing heat from air, and that heat's got to go somewhere. So this heat comes out on this back side, and then this is actually where it intakes. So it pulls in air here and then exhales the warmer air out on this side. Down here we got our drain. So just like your car, when you're running your car's AC, you see it dripping and kind of trickling water on the ground, or even maybe you'll notice that your AC at your home will have that vent outside on the foundation that's trickling out water. Well, this is the same thing. Every AC unit is gonna have something like this, and for what I've seen, they may kind of have a little bit of a reservoir that maybe holds just a little bit of water before it starts spilling out, but it will start spilling some water out of here, and they do give you a hose that you can attach to here so you can route that water safely out wherever you want it. Here, I'd just like to show you what actually comes in the box with the unit itself. So obviously you got your owner's manual for the unit, owner's manual for the battery, got a remote control so you can control the unit without actually having to get up and press buttons on it itself. Then we got these vent hoses. So as I was just showing you on the outside of the unit, we're talking about how the exhaust and then the intake and then actually where your cold air is coming from. This clips onto the back and this clips onto the front, and then you have these hoses. So then you can kind of aim where you want your cold air to go and then also where you want that warmer air to go. So we'll get this set up on the unit and really show you what it looks like with all this stuff set up and give you an example of how this could be useful. Alrighty, for demonstration purposes, I flipped this around to show you how I would use it if I was personally using it on this camper. So basically we got our adapters that I showed you here. They're just secured by these little Allens. There's one on each side, comes with the kit, and they even give you the little Allen wrench for it. And then in the rear, this rear one actually just kind of clips into place, so it's easy to add and remove. So basically these are threaded, kind of like a bolt hole. So you can go ahead, they're left-hand thread. So if you get your little vent hose out, you can kind of thread it in there some, and then this is like a slinky. So basically you can aim it and shape it and do whatever you'd like. So if I were to use it on this, you see I got this window open right here. I could just aim this right in the window, and then it's blowing some nice cool air right inside of the camper. So this setup right here will work just fine, but you're not going to get it working at max efficiency. If you were really wanting to leave it outside of the unit and you wanted to use it and you wanted to get the most possible cool air that you can get, then we're going to have to put some hoses on the back here, like this. So what these hoses do is actually direct the hot air away from where the ambient air is being picked up. And I know this looks a little crazy. This is just purely an example. You can set this up in your tent however you want. I know this door won't be able to open and shut, etc. If I were to leave it out here, I would not put those hoses on there and just run it like that. So basically all these hoses are doing is now your warm air is going up and away, and then the air that the unit is drawing in to remove heat from is actually picking up down from below and not picking up that hot air. And I know this looks a little crazy. You don't have to have it set up like this in this exact situation. I know this door won't shut and all that stuff. I just want to explain how the unit itself works. Here's another view on how it can be set up. And for the sake of explanation, I just have these hoses showing that they are outside of the camper. They are not inside. So for max efficiency, you want both of these hoses to be outside of the area that you are cooling. And I know if some of you have any sort of background in AC, you've been thinking, no, you want the intake to pull the already cold air. Well, I actually asked them about that, and they came up with a great explanation. So if this is actually pulling in the air that's already been cooled in the camper, it's creating negative pressure. And that negative pressure is actually drawing in warm air. Like say if you have this blowing in right here, it's gonna draw warm air through around where the hose is. And even if it's just a couple little cracks here and there, it's gonna add up in the end, and it's not gonna be as efficient as it could be. So it is recommended that both of the hoses be exiting whatever you are trying to cool. So that being said, a good way to set this up in a camper, if I were to pull it this way, and then if I were to go shut this door, and then say it had some sort of duct here, because this is a screen. If there was some sort of bezel here that these could connect to, and then they would blow the hot air out and draw ambient air in, that would work out perfectly. Or maybe even if you unscrewed these hoses and just backed this duct up to the door, and you had a nice positive connection and not just an open window, that would be when it's going to work the absolute best. Plus, with the unit being inside where you are, you can monitor the battery levels, change the temperatures and stuff like that. I know you have a remote that came with it, but sometimes it's nice to be able to see what's going on with the unit itself. Another really effective way to use this unit is as a spot cooler. So say you're sitting around camp, it's super hot, or maybe your dog's been playing and you want to cool them off. You can kind of just set this on the ground or on a table or anything like that. You can optionally have your vent hose on there so you can aim it where you want, but obviously it'll just kind of blow the air out anyways. So think of it as sitting by a fan, except for the breeze is going to be a whole lot cooler than it would be a fan just pushing around warm air. And that's kind of how I've been using it on this build. So basically I'm doing this camper build and I'm working inside here. As you can see, a lot of interior work and stuff like that. If you guys are interested in stuff like that, please go check out that on the channel. I got plenty of build videos up about this, 4 so far, and there will be a couple more. So I've just been letting this thing blow some nice cool air in that window while I'm working, and it's nice. It's kind of like having a fan, you know. I can kind of sit by that window for a second and cool down. Obviously this door is open while I'm working, so I can't expect it to cool the whole place down when I'm letting in a bunch of warm air, but using it as a spot cooler has been really, really nice. Not to mention that I really feel like it drops the humidity levels in there while I'm working, even with this door open. If I had everything sealed up, that is one of its strong advantages, is getting rid of humidity. And if you guys are like me, if you're humid and trying to sleep, or just humid and working in general, you end up sweating a whole lot more, and it just makes things way less enjoyable. All right guys, so I'm actually sitting in the camper now. I got everything shut except for that one window that's kind of cracked. And actually, I got this thermal thing from work. I thought to bring in. I thought it'd be pretty cool. So that way you guys can see the actual output temperature from this hose and kind of show you exactly how much it's cooling here. So I'll say it's only been running about 10 minutes or so. It says 30-degree drop, or 30-degree Fahrenheit drop within 10 minutes, 2300 BTU of output, and I would say that's about right. We're gonna go out there and I'm gonna show you the temperature. I just went and took some readings. I'm gonna show you what the output temperature of the unit itself is compared to the ambient temperature. Guys, I actually came out here with this just because I wanted you guys to be able to see the LCD screen on the unit itself to show what that says versus what our thermal says. All right guys, as you can see, this says about 59 degrees or 58 degrees. I don't know if you can see the LCD screen on the unit itself also says 58 degrees, so that would say it's not lying to us and it's actually putting out some pretty cool air. And I'd say with the ambient temperature of probably 80 degrees, putting out 57-degree air is pretty good, especially for something that's portable, not even plugged in to any real outlet or anything like that. This is just completely self-sustained. You really can't find that anywhere else. Also, to be fair, I feel like if I had my exhaust and my intake pipe set up correctly, it'd probably be cooling even better than it already is. But like I said in there, it's already at its almost 30-degree threshold in 10 minutes. Ambient temperature of about 80 degrees, and it's down there about 58 degrees or so. So I think if that was set up correctly, we would get closer to 50. But I mean, hey, blowing 58-degree air feels amazing when you're in temperatures like this with high humidity. Alright guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. If you have any more questions about the Zero Breeze Mark II, go on over to their website. I will link that in the description, and there's plenty more information about the unit, everything I've already covered, but actually written down black and white instead of listening to me blab to a camera. If you're not already subscribed, I'd really appreciate it if you did. If you're interested in this micro camper build, go ahead and subscribe because I got a whole build series on it. There's actually 3 parts out, and the 4th part out will be probably here in a couple days after this video is out. So go ahead and subscribe and follow along with the build and all the other cool stuff we're doing on the channel, and we'll see you next time.